Okay, first thing, I've had a couple of people asking me about this little empty box that says quick notes. This is if anybody wants to write anything in there for themselves for when you're studying for a test. So like, if you ever feel like summarizing what a topic was, you're welcome to put it there, but I'm not gonna make you write things down. Rexon, what'd you get for number 1? We're going over the answers.
3 and 10.
Perfect. The first answer is going to be positive 3, the second answer positive 10. Whenever you have factors, like the parentheses, answers will be the opposite. So if you keep that fact in mind, we'll be able to solve quite a few things. Number 2 is the first one you had to factor before you could find the answers. Number 2 factors into x minus 8, x minus 4. And then from that, you get the answer of positive 8, positive 4. Number 3, who should we go with? Rexon, pick somebody who should tell me what it factors into. Preferably Amir or Daniel. Okay. Help me factor this one. So you're looking for two numbers that multiply. Is this the one that's negative 27? Sorry, I forgot it was wrong.
That multiplied to negative 27?
Yep, and then add to be negative 6.
Like, isn't 7 like a prime number?
Nope, 27 is not a prime number.
Oh yeah, 9 and 3.
Oh, good thing you did your homework and figured that one out. Minus 9 plus 3. Okay, Daniel, help him out on here. What are going to be the two answers once we factor it? Perfect. Positive 9, negative 3. Okay, on this question with the graph, this was probably more than you needed to do. I was only concerned with one answer. So it's supposed to be obvious, I don't know if it was, but it's supposed to be obvious that the two answers from the picture were negative 1 and positive 3. If you write them as factors or the parentheses, they will be the opposite, which is going to be letter E, x minus 3x plus 1. Now the directions said to write all of them that are correct. I don't care about the other ones that are correct, but I'll tell you which ones are. If I FOIL these out, I would get x squared minus 2x minus 3, which is C. And then the third correct answer, which is correct, but I didn't care that much about, was from transformations from 2 weeks ago that you guys did. This graph is shifted 1 to the right, 4 down, and so then that would be B if you write it as transformations. I'm not worried about B or C. I really only care about E. Because when we take a test next week, there's just going to be the two topics. The first topic is you will be given a graph, and I will ask you guys to be able to find answers from the graph. So x-intercepts, which I circled and wrote the answers to, a y-intercept, which this one would be negative 3, a vertex, which would be 1, negative 4, and then possibly how to write the equation from the picture. So this would be the first half of the test, just to be able to write answers from a picture. The second half of the test is going to be factoring and writing answers from it, which was like question 2 and 3. And we are definitely going to be doing more work with the factoring. So I assumed that would have been the hardest part of the homework on those 4 questions was the factoring. And so we'll practice some more with it. I can't remember, did we use the boxes yesterday when we factored? Not every hour I did, and some hours asked me to write them. Okay, well, I'll refresh you guys on how to use the boxes. You don't have to use them though. I'm just going to refresh you on how to use them if you want to. So like say this first one in the upper left. The way that you use the boxes is you're going to write the x squared in the upper left. You're gonna write the plain number in the lower right. And then in these two diagonal boxes is supposed to be the two numbers that multiply to be +8 and add to be +6. So for this problem, that would be 4 and 2. And so then I would write 4x and 2x. And again, if you want to use the boxes, you are welcome to, you don't have to. As I look down, I'll just try to find what they have in common. So x squared, 4x, both have an x. 2x and 8, well, 2 goes into both. X squared and 2x, an x. 4x and 8, a 4. And so then I can write my factors, or my answer, as x plus 4, x plus 2. These examples at the top up here are just supposed to be factored. We're not gonna find x-intercepts or solutions or zeros. We were just supposed to factor them. The ones below this are to find answers. Who did I call? Daniel, I called on you last. Choose the next person. Caleb. Help me start x squared minus 64.
Put the x squared in the top left.
Perfect.
Wouldn't we put a 0 there?
If you would like to, that's what we did. I believe that's what I had you guys do when we did it before. Is I had you guys write x squared plus 0x minus 64. You absolutely can do that. If you know how to do it without it, you don't have to. Okay, so then by writing the 0, the only purpose for that was to try to find two numbers that multiply to negative 64, but add to be 0. You think of those two numbers, or you want somebody else to do it?
Someone else.
Okay, who's that person?
15.
There's a lot of people gone, so there's a good chance. 15's not here. No, wait, 15 is Maddie. Do you want to do it? Do you know them, or do you want somebody else to do it?
The number?
Yeah, do you know the pair?
Yeah, -8.
Perfect. So the nice thing, all of the questions that we get that only have two things, the pair of numbers is always going to be the same number. So like this one, it's 8 and -8. Down below, I think, if I remember right, there's a couple more. If it's if it's a 9, it'd be 3 and 3. They're like perfect square numbers. They're always going to be the exact same number. It's the only way you can add the 0. Okay, so then we have x. What did I write there? Oh, that's a 4. My 4 looked like an x. 8, x, -8. Now, do you have somebody you want to call on, or a number?
11.
Maddie to Maddie.
Yeah.
How come I wrote a negative on this number, but not that one?
So that's
Nope. Oh, that's why I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
Nora?
Because like the first number is negative.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, yeah.
So if the first box is negative, then you would write a negative on the answer. Over here, this one was a +8 on the outside because that 8x is positive. So if the first box is negative, you write a negative on the answer. Okay, and then from that, I get x plus 8, x minus 8. You guys have a question on it?
No.
You just don't want to ask it out loud? Okay, that's fine. Do we need to do the, how about, let me ask this. 0 to 5, how well do you guys remember factoring, since I know we started redoing it yesterday? Like, I just want to know how many examples we should do together, or, so most of you remember pretty good? That's what it looks like? Excellent. Okay, then I won't do too many with us. Let's do this one. We don't actually have to do the graph part at all though. So, If you wanna cross that out, you can. If you wanna draw the graph, go for it. The graph is just there to try to reinforce how we got the correct answer, but we did that yesterday. Okay. What this is trying to show, it doesn't matter if your problems say y equals or f of x equals, because yesterday they all said f of x, or 0 equals, we're gonna do the same thing with all of them. We're gonna factor them and then find the answers from the factors. So, it doesn't matter what they say next to the equation. It will matter later on. For right now, it definitely does not. Okay, let's just go with the last, Nora, I guess you kind of answered last, huh? Okay,
32.
maybe Dylan? Are you 32?
Yeah.
You are. Oh, you look excited to answer. Or not? Did you wanna go?
Sure.
Okay. Anything you could tell me about this one? Otherwise, I can guide you. So our goal is to factor this. What would you do first?
Something with 6 and 7.
Okay, it has to multiply, we need to find two numbers that multiply to 6, but then add to be positive 7. Did you think of that pair of numbers already? So luckily, there's only two ways to multiply to 6. We either have 1 and 6, or 2 and 3.
6 and 1.
Perfect. Does anybody here remember the quick way to factor instead of using the boxes? Because I feel like I should do at least one example with that. Did you guys all use the boxes to factor then? So then somebody, well, how do I write the factors without using the boxes then? That's the quick way.
Just write
So what would be the answer?
x plus 6, and then x plus 1.
Perfect. So if you use the boxes, there's nothing wrong with it. But whenever you're using the boxes, every time we figured out the pair of numbers, so this one, the pair of numbers was 4 and 2, well, that's the two things you read in the parentheses. On this one, the pair of numbers was 8 and negative 8. That's the two numbers in the parentheses. So I call it the quick method of factoring because it basically skips the boxes. But if the boxes help you like organize your thoughts, use the boxes. So I'm mainly saying it because I'm okay with you guys just kind of writing the answer. Because some of this you can do in your head. Okay, wait, who told me that again? Who did you call him, Dora? Dylan. Who's gonna go, unless you wanna finish the problem?
1.
1. Nora is pleased. What are the two answers, now that I have parentheses, what are the two answers that we get from that, the zeros or intersects? Perfect. They are always gonna be the opposite of the parentheses. And then we would be done. Excellent. Okay, before I give you time to work and just go on the homework, I need to fix two problems on the next page. Your homework is gonna be page 4 and page 5. But there are two questions on page 5 that are incorrect, like they're typos. And luckily, you guys worked first period today because they got to find the typos. This question, this plus sign should be a minus sign. That's the first typo. So this is the middle of the left column. This is on page 5. Page 5 on the left-hand side. And then the second mistake is on page 5 on the bottom. This 2 should be a 4. Because with those typos, you couldn't factor them, which screws up the entire problem. What? Yep. Okay, so you guys have page 4 and 5. There's a good chance some of you might finish it during the hour. If you do, I actually have them in the computer already. And so anything that you guys want me to put in the grade book, I can today. And if you don't finish it today, well, that's not a problem. I mean, like, you just finish it later. But we do have about a half hour left, so I'm sure some of you will get done. And in fact, some of you probably worked ahead while I was doing the notes and are already on page 5. And that's fine if that's the case. Okay.